From WFRV Local 5, your local election headquarters. This is Newsmaker Sunday.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us for Newsmaker Sunday. I'm Tom Zalaski. The Wisconsin State Supreme Court race, April, between Brad Schimmel and Susan Crawford, one that could determine the High Court's ideological balance. Right now, liberals currently hold a 4-3 majority, and with liberal Justice Ann Walsh Bradley retiring, that majority is up for grabs. And joining us this morning, we are honored to have conservative candidate Judge Brad Schimmel. Judge, good to have you back again.
Thank you, Tom. Good to see you.
Thanks for making time for us. This is not your first rodeo.
No.
Little refresher course, please, Judge. The offices you have run for and held.
Yeah, I came right out of law school and got a job in the Waukesha DA's office as an assistant DA, and after 17 years of frontline prosecutor, I got talked into running for district attorney, and served as Waukesha's district attorney for 8 years, and then found myself surprised to be running for Wisconsin Attorney General, served there for 4 years, and since then I've been a circuit court judge in Waukesha County for the last 6 years or so.
So now you run for Supreme Court for the state of Wisconsin. Yeah. Why? What was the trigger? Was there an event? Was there a policy? What made you say, I've got to get into this fray?
Yeah, it definitely wasn't my plan.
No.
I love my work as a circuit court judge, and frankly, doing just one job full-time was plenty. Running for office like this, you now are doing several full-time jobs, routine the day job and then doing this with all the rest of your time. I know it goes into a statewide campaign. I did it twice before. I know you're going to be away from your family a lot. You're not going to eat right. You're not going to exercise. You're not going to be sleeping right. It's probably the most unhealthy thing you can do for yourself. But I looked at what happened in 2023, and in that Supreme Court race, we had a candidate who openly promised how they were going to rule on cases. And it's wrong. And then what troubled me even more is once she won and the liberal majority took over, they started keeping those promises. That drove me to get into this race. I'm running to restore that objectivity to our court, a respect for the rule of law. Judges don't make law. Judges follow the law and apply the law as written by the other branch, the legislature.
So did somebody come to you and say, hey, Judge, you want to try that?
Yes.
Or was it from you yourself?
No, it came from other judges around the state, conservative judges who were frustrated. And I mean, my first reaction to all of them was, yeah, find somebody else. I've paid my dues. I ran for statewide office. I've got 35 years in the state pension. I've been a public servant for 35 years. I wasn't planning to do this and extend my career by another 10 years, but I'm all in because it's that important. And when those other judges came to me, I told them look for somebody else. They went around the state, they looked for somebody else, and they kept coming back to me. So as I looked at it and I prayed on it, I recognized that this is something that I should do, that I'm called to run this race and try to restore this objectivity to our court.
All the other positions court-wise that you have held, how will they serve you if and when you are elected to the Supreme Court?
You know, as a prosecutor and as Attorney General, I didn't make policy there either. I enforced the law the way other people created it. And as Attorney General, I defended Wisconsin law. So as a circuit court judge the last 6 years, that transition was easy for me to take the bench and now just go to applying that law the way it's written. And same with the Supreme Court. It's not a big change for me because as much as I've been an advocate, I haven't been an advocate for changing the law. I've been an advocate for using that law to improve people's lives.
Let me get you off the bench and into your home. Tell me about the family.
Yeah, my wife Sandy and I have been married for 28 years. We have two amazing daughters. They're 23 and 21. Both of them are adopted. We were blessed that we can't have children biologically. We were blessed that two 18-year-old young women, 23 and 21 years ago, they were still in school. They had the amazing courage to give us a family we can't have biologically. And my oldest daughter is a high school teacher. My younger is a dental assistant. I couldn't be more proud or amazed.
And you mentioned earlier, from a personal standpoint, the schedule you have to keep up now with running. You know, no exercise and the diet and the schedule and what have you. But it's not just the candidate. It takes its toll on the family as well, does it not?
Yeah, you know, when I started running for district attorney, my daughters were 1 and 3. And then when I was running for attorney general, they were in junior high age. Now they're in their 20s. They don't think they need their mom so much. Of course, they do whenever they do, but they don't recognize it the way they did when they were younger. And it's left, you know, my wife always back then would, when things boiled over, the stress of running the household by herself, she'd let me know that, you know, I feel like a single mom. And now it's a lot different. She's kind of a political widow right now, and that's really rough. I think this is the roughest race on her of all of them.
Sure. We are back with State Supreme Court candidate Brad Schimmel right after this. Please stay right there. We are back now with Judge Brad Schimmel, who is running for State Supreme Court. Judge, we've seen the commercials, we've seen the rape kit commercials, accusations going back and forth. Your answer to the accusation, what happened there with those rape kits?
Well, first off, your viewers are going to get their televisions back on April 2nd. So
they'll be happy.
Yeah, not too far off. You know, the important number to think about with this is 0. When I came to the Department of Justice, 0 kits had been tested. They had accumulated for 25 years in storerooms at police departments and hospitals. And I got there, no one had attempted to take this on. No attorney general, no governor before me. And I knew from my experience as a frontline prosecutor, much of that was in the Sensitive Crimes Division, prosecuting sexual assault cases. I knew the importance of getting these kits tested. I knew it was going to be hard. That's why nobody took it on before. But we started with 0 tested. When I finished my time as Attorney General, just less than 4 years later, there were 0 kits that needed to be tested anymore. We got the problem solved. That's the key here. That's part of why law enforcement's standing with me on this. I have 3/4 of the current elected sheriffs in Wisconsin from both parties are publicly endorsing me in this race because they saw the work I did to solve problems. That was just one of many problems we went after when I was Attorney General, and we solved them. And the most important thing about the sexual assault kit issue is we put in place a process where this will never happen again. If a survivor of sexual violence wants their kit tested, their kit must be tested. And by the way, just so your listeners or your viewers know what we're talking about, a sexual assault kit is an invasive examination conducted at a hospital by a trained, usually a sexual assault nurse, or it could be a doctor, but it's an invasive process. It's humiliating and difficult for them to go through. And it was unfortunate that for 25 years, many of those kits did not get submitted for the testing that should have happened.
Judge, where did that 6 number come from? The 6 tested, 6,000 left.
Oh, well, the process was lengthy. We first had to secure the grant money to get to be able to afford to do this. It was about 9 months before we were able to secure the grant money. The next step was we had to find out what was out there. There was no inventory. We had to go to every single law enforcement agency in Wisconsin, every hospital that conducted sexual assault exams, and ask them, please go to your storeroom and find out what's there. Once we knew it was there, the next step was get all the investigation reports so we knew who the victim was, where we were likely to find them. And then the final step was we had to go to each and every one of them and ask permission. They'd already had their dignity and their self-empowerment taken away by an abuser who attacked them. They already had been humiliated by this process of collecting the evidence. This is evidence from their bodies. It should be something that's only tested with their consent. So we went to each and every one of them and asked for their permission to test. Now, there were 6,000 kits we found that were in storerooms. It turned out there were about 4,200 that needed to be tested. In some of the cases, it was demonstrated that the offender was innocent. Well, certainly you're not going to go test the kid under those circumstances. And then in other cases, there was simply a survivor who didn't want their kit tested, and so we didn't test those. Once you test that kit, you are throwing them into a system where they're going to lose control over their lives, because now there's going to be charges, there's going to be testimony, there's going to be a trial, there's going to be all these things, and that brings a lot of fear and anxiety, and some women don't want to go through that.
That issue and the issue of pointing fingers at each other about being soft on crime, not sentencing murderers and what have you. The rape kit and the soft on crime issue seems to be the focus of the commercials, and yet the office to which you hope to get to, the Supreme Court doesn't deal with cops and robbers stuff. You're not going to deal with those issues.
No, not all the time. Sometimes you do. But I'll say this, in terms of the ads that talk about our history as judges, first off, that's fair game.
Yeah.
I mean, our role as a public servant, to look back at our history and to tell the voters the truth about it, that's fine. I'll say this, Tom, the ads that have been run against me, they're frankly false and misleading. They take a case, for instance, with where they say that I don't take sentencing in domestic abuse cases seriously. But the example they cite in the ad, that names a man who was a United States combat veteran. He came back with post-traumatic stress disorder, and he wasn't dealing with it by getting help. He was dealing with it with alcohol. And as you might not be surprised, his domestic relationship was not going as well as it could. And he got himself in trouble. He got arrested. He sat in jail for a few days. But fast forward to the sentencing date. The victim came forward. They were still together. They were now about to have their first child together. And she begged me not to lock him up. She said that she'd never seen, in her whole life, never seen anyone work so hard to improve themselves as what Bill had done. And she urged me. She said, Judge, you know, he got in counseling. He's finally dealing with his mental health issues. He goes to AA every day, and he's sober. And we never thought, she said, I never thought I'd say something like this, but him getting arrested was the best thing that could have happened to us because he finally got help. And she begged me, if you lock him up, you could undo all the great progress he's made. These are 2 misdemeanor charges. The best thing to do there was give him probation, give him an opportunity to prove himself. He completed that probation and did prove his redemption was real. That is the right thing to do, and no judge anywhere would have done differently.
Back with Judge Brad Schimmel right after this, so please stay right there. We are back now with Judge Brad Schimmel, who is campaigning for Wisconsin State Supreme Court. I know, Judge, you cannot tell me how you're going to rule on certain issues, but you know the issues that are going to come up. What is your thinking process when the abortion issue, say, comes before you?
Well, I'm in the civil division in Waukesha County now. I have cases every day that there are generally motions, summary judgment motions, motions to dismiss. You know, the lawyers submit their briefs, and you start to get an impression. You start to think you might know which way this case is going to end up, but I have questions. And so I schedule oral arguments. The lawyers come in, and at the oral arguments, my clerk will ask me in the morning before oral arguments, how are you going to rule on this case, Judge? And I said, well, I think the plaintiff's right in this case, but, you know, I've got questions. We get to the hearing. I get my questions answered, and I go the other way, because now I see the path that's correct. You have to keep your mind open all the way till the end, and you have to apply the law the way it's written. To do so is arrogant, and it's a violation of our constitutional principles that judges don't make the law. You asked about the abortion issue. I have my personal views. Being a father of adopted daughters, my wife and I treasure the 2 young women who gave us the chance to have a family that we can't have biologically. And I treasure life even when it's not planned. But when I put the robe on, my personal views are utterly irrelevant. It would be arrogant for me to suggest that I should make this decision for the voters of Wisconsin. This issue belongs in the hands of the voters of Wisconsin. No judge should make this decision for them, and I will respect the will of the voters when I decide that and any other issue.
No doubt Act 10 is going to come up before you.
It might.
where will you, I won't say where are you going to decide, where will you be thinking? What questions will you be asking?
I will apply the law. Now, I haven't read any briefs in the case yet. I don't think they've been submitted to the Supreme Court yet. So actually, the case isn't before the Supreme Court yet, so certainly no briefs yet. I'll read the briefs. Those will generate the questions I have in the case. And undoubtedly, in the Supreme Court cases, almost always end up with oral arguments by the attorneys. When they get to the questions I have, will be asked at that time. Then, after that, then I'll research the law, determine what is the correct outcome to this case based on the law, and then I'll issue my decision, not before.
How far in advance do you and the other justices, would-be justices, know what's going to come before you? In other words, right now, do you know that if you were to win a seat on the Supreme Court, do you know what issues are going to come up?
I don't yet, because the court session will end in June, and they will have decided the cases from this session already. So there'll be a new session that starts in August, and at that time there will be petitions for review that cases are coming. For the most part, I'm not going to know what cases. There may be some carryovers that petitions for review by the court are granted that haven't yet been gotten to oral arguments yet. That's a possibility, but I don't know what those are yet, no.
In your campaign material, you have accused Judge Crawford, your opponent, of catering to the elites in Madison, quotes. What do you mean by that?
Well, I'm running a 72-county campaign. I got in this race 16 months before Election Day. I've already been campaigning for over 15 months, and I've gone to every single county in this state. I've gone to every corner of the state to talk to regular voters. My opponent has spent most of her campaign in Madison. Up until recently has she gone out and started campaigning around the state. She is the hand-picked choice of the current liberal justices on the court to replace the outgoing justice. They cleared the path for her. She announced her candidacy, and within a very short time after that, all 4 liberal justices on the court endorsed her. I've earned this. I've gone around to the people of Wisconsin to avoid a primary from my side by earning it the old-fashioned way, going and talking to voters and doing the legwork. That's what I mean. And frankly, you know, my only client, for 35 years, my only client has been the people of the state of Wisconsin as a public servant. For much of her career, my opponent spent that time suing the people of the state of Wisconsin. There were times when I was Attorney General, she was the opposing counsel suing the people of Wisconsin. I was representing them. There's a very big difference between the two of us.
Our guest this morning, Judge Brad Schimmel, running for Supreme Court, and we are back to wrap up with him right after this. Stay right there. We are back with Judge Brad Schimmel as he aims to join the Wisconsin State Supreme Court. The last election between Janet Protasiewicz and Dan Kelly, one of the most expensive court races, not just for Wisconsin, but also in the nation.
The most expensive court race in American history.
And this race is almost following suit. You've raised a lot of money. The other side has raised a lot of money. Is big money just a necessary evil in these races now? You got to fight fire with fire?
Well, I've tried to get around that, the money influence, by doing the 72-county campaign, getting to voters where they are, going to the dairy breakfast, going to the county fairs, going to any place where people are gathered to talk to them about the importance of restoring objectivity to the Wisconsin Supreme Court. But the money is a real factor. The way Wisconsin's law is set up, huge amounts of money can come in to these races, and I have to be competitive. It's not my first choice. I wish that it was more about people watching a show like this, watching a debate, reading a balanced newspaper article, learning about the race, or coming out to an event, meeting the candidates. But so often it becomes down to how many TV ads get run.
I'm sure both you and your opponent are in the same boat on this one. Question I want to ask you. When you're at home with your family, with the daughters, and you're watching television, and here comes one of those attack ads, which you don't feel is correct or fair or is plain, what do you do? What are you doing? Are you yelling at the TV? Are you disgusted. What happens there?
Well, one of the benefits of running for office is I'm rarely home. I don't see very much television, but I'm certainly seeing the ads because we know what's getting run. So I see the things, and yeah, I am frustrated, and I'm disappointed when there's something that isn't truthful or misleading, and yeah, it's frustrating, but I've run for statewide office before. I knew what I was getting into. I know what was going to happen, and that's why I knew get in this race really early so you get to Wisconsinites before all the nasty ads start. That's what I did.
We've got about a minute left to have you tell the voters of Wisconsin and Northeast Wisconsin specifically why Brad Schimmel should sit on that bench as opposed to Judge Crawford.
Well, I've been a public servant for 35 years, and it's been my privilege to do that. I didn't plan to run for Supreme Court, but I watched what happened in 2023. I watched our court lose its objectivity. No litigant should go to court knowing they've already lost their case or won their case because of the identity of the justice on the court. We should have fairness for everyone. I got in this race to restore that objectivity of the Wisconsin Supreme Court, and I'd be honored to have your watchers vote for April 1st. Thank you.
Judge Brad Schimmel, good to have you. Thanks so much for being here, making time for us.
Thank you, Tom.
On a busy campaign.
Yes.
All right. If you have a newsmaker in your town who you think we should have on this program, let us know about it. Send us an email to tips@wearegreenbay.com, or you can message us on Facebook. And be sure to join us once again Sunday morning at 7:30. Until then, have a great day.